So what is happening right now with price action of Bitcoin? Because if you monitor this price structure here in a daily time frame, Bitcoin is on the verge of either seeing this massive price pullback, which could bring us towards this 200 weekly moving average in the upcoming days, or a huge bounce of this 50 weekly moving average. Because we are aware, whenever the price of Bitcoin has seen any sort of a corrective move like this, right, after testing the 50 weekly, we have always seen a really nice relief rally playing out again and again. So if this is going to be a pretty similar scenario for Bitcoin one more time, just like here from 2014, 2017, 2019, then this is the exact moment to do the pretty similar thing which we have been doing since past Bitcoin price action. So right now, since this support here of 50 weekly moving average has already been broken to the downside, please keep this in mind. This is a weekly time frame. So what we want at any cost is the price of Bitcoin to close above this $31,866 where this 50 weekly moving average is at. Because if the weekly candle does manages to close above this 50 weekly moving average, that is a sign that the price of Bitcoin is actually still holding this uptrend and also could see potential upward price movement or this relief rally type of scenario playing out. But getting rejection from this 50 weekly moving average and also price closing below this, that could trigger some very bearish scenario for Bitcoin. Because right now, this Bollinger Band here, this Bollinger Band, the volatility squeeze which we talked in my previous videos, this is also showing us that since the price of Bitcoin right now is testing the lower band of this Bollinger Band, right, this is a very dangerous scenario. Because if this lower band is going to get broken, then this here, right, is also going to show another massive price pullback here to the downside. So that's why at any cost right now, we want our price of Bitcoin to stay between this very important line of support that is lying around 50 weekly moving average, that is 31,800, and the final line of hope that is around 30,000 price range. Because if this 30,000 support is also going to get broken, then as I've already talked about this scenario, guys, this Wyckoff's market cycle is going to play out exactly as shown here in an example. Because if you look at this scenario here, and if you look at the price action of Bitcoin, reaccumulation before this impulsive move, reaccumulation before this impulsive move, distribution phase, right? And this pullback, what we are witnessing, and this consolidation type of scenario here, right, this could play out as a redistribution phase if the support here at 30,000 and this 50 weekly moving average is going to get broken. Because if you look to the downside, the RSI line is clearly actually pointing out the momentum is switching from bullish to bearish, right? And also this bearish MACD cross and TSI 2 strength indicator also in the negative territory, and along with this awesome oscillator which is also now entering the negative territory, showing a complete sign of weakness. So we have to be very careful. Because right now, if the important support of 30,000 and this 50 weekly moving average is not going to hold the price here in a bigger time frame, then the price of Bitcoin could continue this rally to the downside. Because this scenario here is also then going to play out as a redistribution phase from Wyckoff. Because after this redistribution phase, we are going to see another rally that could bring us around this 20,000 price range. Because we have said our price target, if this 30,000 rally is going to get broken, is going to be somewhere around 24,000 to 25,000 price range, which could be a great place to accumulate some more position or accumulate some more Bitcoin in this cheaper price. Because this is also going to play out as a complete Wyckoff redistribution, right, scenario, and then we will be starting this accumulation scenario before price again starts heading in an upper direction. So this one scenario in a bigger time frame and also in a daily time frame are indicating the price right now does look very weak. But before we call any sort of a price movement, the important line of support and resistance must be broken. So as long as the price of Bitcoin is going to stay above the 30,000, right, we will be expecting more of a range bound type of market playing out for Bitcoin. But if the 30,000 support is going to get broken, then this volatility squeeze is also going to indicate a potential downward price movement for Bitcoin. So we have to be very careful at this current stage. And also, if you want to monitor this price action in a bit different way, no problem, you can see here. On my previous video in a daily time frame, I showed you this descending channel type of scenario playing out for Bitcoin, because we said this here was a clear sign of lower highs, lower lows continuation pattern for Bitcoin. So if this trend is going to continue, you can see here, right? This is clearly a low highs, lower lows continuation pattern. So what we said, if this trend is going to continue, then we have to be careful because the price of Bitcoin has already got a rejection, just like here in the past Bitcoin price action, because this upper line from this descending channel right now is also acting as a strong line of resistance. And not just only that, I also included this one scenario. Let me show you one more time here, which was known as symmetrical triangle. But this symmetrical triangle was already seeing this rejection from the lower line area, the support line, which has already been broken. You can see here resistance, resistance, resistance. The lower line here, which also acted as a strong support, got broken. And now, along with this bigger descending channel, right, you can see the price here is also getting rejection to re-enter or try to see this impulsive move to the upside. So that's why, as long as the price here is not breaking out of this upper line area, we must be careful, because that is a clear sign of weakness, and this trend here could potentially also see this 30,000 price range again. So that's why right now, as you can see, the whole market structure does looks very, very weak for Bitcoin. And also, if we look at this in a smaller time frame, you can see here, this here is price action of Bitcoin in a 4-hour time frame, because what we are going to now is monitor this price structure around this area. Because you can see here, guys, this price structure right now in a 4-hour time frame does looks like it's forming this very nice falling wedge type of scenario. But right now in a 4-hour time frame, the price is getting a support here from the lower line area, because in this case, you can see here, guys, this could be a really nice falling wedge type of scenario, because the lower line here is clearly acting as a strong line of support, right? Support, 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 support. The upper line here is rejecting the price. So this means this falling wedge in a 4-hour time frame could indicate that if this support again is going to remain here, then we might be expecting some sort of a relief rally play out here in a 4-hour time frame. But we have seen in a daily time frame and in a weekly time frame, the trend here is weakening, right? But to confirm this bounce, if that is going to happen, I have included this RSI line, because as I have already said, you guys, as long as the RSI tends to be following this rising trend line here, the support of this rising trend line is a really nice indication the trend here could see potential bounce to the upside. But breaking this support here, breaking this trend line, rising trend line support, has always led to this possible price pullback. I've talked about this already in my video. You can see RSI line was following this rising trend line. Once the support got broken, boom, we had this RSI drop and also this price pullback scenario. Similar scenario played out here. Price saw a correction. Once we broke out of this rising trend line, the RSI line broke the support of this rising trend line, then boom, price also saw this pullback, right? This scenario has played out again and again, you can see here, right? So if you would monitor this RSI line right now for Bitcoin, you can see, guys, this here is actually showing us that now the price movement here, right? If you monitor the price movement here, you can see this is actually showing us that now any sort of impulsive movement, then we should be following this rising trend line again. So if this RSI is going to follow this rising trend line and find support above it, this could be showing us in a 4-hour time frame a small relief rally type of scenario, because we have always seen a really nice bounce of this lower line area of this falling wedge when the price was heading here to the downside. So if this support here now around this 31,300, 31,200 is going to remain, and also this RSI line is going to follow this rising trend line, then we might be expecting some sort of a relief rally playing out for Bitcoin, because this price movement here in a 4-hour time frame, what we can do is we can simply add this falling trend line, because this falling trend line could be looked as a confirmation line. I mean, if this movement is going to see any sort of a relief rally, right, breaking this falling trend line would also indicate now the price has a very likely scenario to see this relief rally playing out. And if you see this RSI line also following this rising trend line, then the trend here in a 4-hour time frame could see a potential movement that could bring us around the upper line area of this falling wedge, and that could be again around 33,300, 33,200 price range. So let's see how the price of Bitcoin is going to react. But altogether, as you can see in a weekly time frame and also in a daily time frame, the price of Bitcoin is weakening, and I am actually being very, very realistic here. So guys, these are some of the scenarios I thought sharing with you in today's episode. If you enjoyed my work, then please hit the like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye guys.